These? And the few guys that are watching the show, without further ado, please let me bring out Stefanie Powers, who I'm so excited is here. Welcome to Queens. She's getting a polite applause from the set. Welcome to Queens, Stefanie Powers.
That's very kind.
You know,
were you really eating those cookies?
Well, you know, as I just said off camera, I said, you know, my mother will call today because I had a mouthful, and that's when she calls. When she says, honey, stop eating on camera. Welcome to the program, and, you know, I'm so excited to meet you because I watched your work over the years, and you're so appealing. I feel like I know you already. People tell you that all the time, that they feel as though they know you.
It's the most, it's the nicest compliment I think anybody could have.
I hope so.
If your work or if whatever you represent seems to be something that people are accessible. People talk to me a lot in elevators.
Oh, do they?
A lot.
I'm sure they pipe right up.
Yes, they do.
And which, though, of the roles, we think of Jennifer Hart, of course, I think of the girl from Uncle, which reveals my age, because I loved that show.
It reveals both of our ages, I think.
But which role really is Stefanie Powers, though, do you think? Is Jennifer Hart close to that? From Heart to Heart?
I think my best role, the most successful role, or at least the one that gives me greatest pleasure, is as president of the William Holden Wildlife Foundation.
Of course, which is something, I guess you're basically as well known for that as you are for your work on television and film. Isn't that the case?
Gosh, I hope so.
I think so. I mean, in the same breath, I associate you with that. But you've done some other things, and let me just talk about some of that, because I do want to talk, obviously, about your work as a wildlife conservationist, but you've got some other things going on in your life, like the Stefanie Powers Broadway workout.
That's it.
This is fun. Dancing to Broadway show tunes?
Dancing to Broadway show tunes. You know, there's that, if you live with the theory that there's nothing really new under the sun, we're repeating it over and over again. I guess the best thing that we can do is to try and find innovations, to present things in a slightly different way. And so one might say, well, my God, here's another person trying to flog another exercise video. But I think what we've done here is we've accomplished the major thing, which is to make people feel good about at least listening to the music and watching the tape. The response that we've had has been that the toe begins to tap. And
absolutely.
We like to think that that's the first stage to exercise.
Is it for all ages? How did you do when you thought about making it? Who are you really thinking of working out with you?
Everybody.
There? Everybody.
Everybody, and by and large, I was thinking more about being the best that you can be, that kind of idea. We keep forgetting that. We look at so many role models that are unattainable. And or flawed.
Yes.
And the most important thing, I think, is always to feel better inside yourself.
Well, what better to make you feel good than show tunes? At least from my point of view. I know that we tap around my house soon. Let's take a look at a clip of Stefanie's new workout.
Let's pick up the pace. We want to do a high-energy program full of Pepper and Jennifer. I'll be doing the low impact. Get ready for quarter pivot turns. Pick your feet up if you're on the carpet. Again. March again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and pivot. Step kick, 4 times. Great fun.
That's great.
It's funny.
Name that tune. It would be 76 trombones in the big frame.
But as you see, everybody behind me they're real people. They're not models walking down a runway.
So you've got some of the big musicals we remember from growing up, maybe Oklahoma or Oliver.
Yes, Oklahoma has a wonderful song that we all remember, Oh, What a Beautiful Morning,
Yeah.
and that's the one we use to wake everybody up and stretch. And the main thing is it's a feel-good tape, and it's a tape that should hopefully motivate people to start feeling something good about themselves and good about their body, and then, in spite of themselves, in spite of all of us, exercise.
Now, what's your favorite Broadway show tune then on the tape? Which one do you like to move to?
Well, since we're at Astoria Film Studios, I guess, is
The Wiz.
Yes.
From this very building.
From this very building.
Did you know that it was done in this building, The Wiz?
Yes.
He's on down the road.
He's on down the road.
And there's actually a building named after Diana Ross, which we didn't even realize until her daughter Rhonda Ross came on the show.
Really?
And we discovered that there's a whole wing of this building named for her mom. So
and some
pretty
other great people have been here, too.
Woody Allen works a lot in this building, too. Now, of course, just simply known as the home to Queens. Okay. Listen, we'd like you to stay for another segment with us because I want to show you a little look at Atlantic City, where I took a visit to the boardwalk. And I want to talk to you a little bit about your William Holden Foundation.
Thank you.
So please stay tuned. More with the beautiful and talented Stefanie Powers and the boardwalk Atlantic City. And when we come back from the commercial, your first look at some Miss Americas. So the contestants, you might want to get out a piece of paper and a pencil, as they say, and start keeping track, because I know I am. I'm going to pick the top 10 by the end of the week.
Coming up later today on Queen, meet the boss of Mrs. Fields Cookies, Debbie Fields. Hot, sexy, and safe for sex. And you remember her as Rosanna Dana? A tribute to Saturday Night Live's Gilda Radner.
Okay, I'm going out on my first limb. See, I am a gambling woman. Now, let it be known. Though I didn't lose any money in Atlantic City, I was very good. You don't have a lot of time to gamble when you're working.
Did you see what they sing and dance? And
yes, we have all the information. Now, FYI, Miss Maine does a tap routine, and she's a clinical psychologist. It's all right here on the cards, which you'll be seeing later in the show. We have so much fun on this program. Is it just me? I'm just pageant nuts. Now, it is just me. Now, Stephanie, let me ask you about the William Holden Wildlife Foundation.
Yes, I'd love to talk about it.
I know you love to talk about it, but let me ask you this first. Was this a passion for wildlife conservation that you and Bill Holden discovered together, or was it something that he brought to you?
I'd always been interested in animals, but clearly Bill had gone out to Africa in the 1950s when things were very, very different than they are today. It was a colony. Kenya was a British colony, and the independence fighters were fighting in the mountains. He went out as a hunter on a hunting safari, and he told me that the first time he killed this beautiful gazelle called a Garanuk, which is a very, very long neck and beautiful big eyes. He lifted up its head and he said, "Oh my God, I've just shot Audrey Hepburn."
Wow.
And he really didn't want to continue doing that. But he loved Africa, and he loved the wildlife. And he found another alternative, which became as important to him as his career, and that was preservation of species. Well, he bought a game ranch. He bought a club there.
And all which is there and that you've maintained through this foundation?
And his two partners, obviously. He had two partners, Don and Iris Hunt, who live there and carry on with his work at the Mount Kenya Game Ranch. But he wanted to build an education center, which was the backup to specific animal preservation. And so what we did after Bill's death was we built this education center, which currently serves about 10,000 students a day.
Wow.
A day. Seems like 10,000 students a day.
What a wonderful legacy for him to maintain. That must be a wonderful thing in his name for you. I mean, you were together a long time.
It's just a way of giving back,
right.
You know.
How many years were you two together? But you were never married. 9 years, but never married.
No.
And what were those years like in Hollywood together? And this sort of must have been an interesting time.
Hollywood.
Were you always in Africa? And
we were around the world.
Around the world?
Yeah.
Because he's another one I just adored. I mean, I just thought he was so dreamy.
He was.
It must have been pretty neat to be on his arm around the world.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
See, she wants to talk about gazelles, you know? She won't talk about Bill Holden, but she'll talk about gazelles. Will you talk about the Miss America pageant?
I haven't seen all the girls.
Well, have you ever been involved? Have you ever been asked to be a judge down there or anything like that?
No.
They've never asked you, eh?
No. I'm not here very much. I'm not in this country very much. I really am in Africa a great deal, and there are interests in conservation that I have around the world.
And I bet that that's a subject, you know, the women in the Miss America pageant nowadays, they all have to have a platform that they will speak about for the year. And I don't think I've seen a lot in the animal conservation department, come to think of it. There have been some veterinary interests, but that's an interest that I haven't really seen reflected in these young people. And we have the cards, and all the information is right here on the cards. But why don't we take a look at our first walk on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, and I'll show you what we saw this weekend.
What were they principally interested in, the girls?
Atlantic City, home to the Miss America pageant for over 70 years. And that's a lot of years of change on this boardwalk. The casinos, for one, they're not even that old. And they may house the women when they're here in the hotels, but no gambling for Miss America contestant. Something else that's new is this Warner Brothers store. How about that, Daffy? But I have a feeling a lot of the women will be making a trip to this store before they go back home. And just like the boardwalk has changed, the Miss America pageant has too.
The Miss America pageant. Good evening, everyone. everybody coast to coast. Douglas Edwards reporting from Atlantic City, New Jersey. The Cinderella Hour is approaching. The next 90 minutes will answer that momentous question, who will be Miss America 1958?
Enjoy the pageant. I hope your favorite contestant wins.
Tonight, live from the world-famous Atlantic City Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey, it's the 1993 Miss America pageant.
Here is your question, Miss Mississippi. What is your favorite topic when with a young man for opening the conversation?
I've read different articles that tell you how to get along with the opposite sex. And the first thing that they say is, get him to talk about himself.
Somewhere, sometime, someone in your family or someone that you know will be infected or affected by AIDS, and there's no avoiding it.
Inside the doors of the convention center, begin the preliminaries this evening, giving each woman a chance over 3 nights to showcase her talent, her evening wear, and her swimsuit, which of course everybody's talking about this year because the high heels are off and the bare feet are in. So who's going to be the next Miss America? Well, Saturday night, that'll be decided by an esteemed panel of celebrity judges. But in the meantime, what better judges than right here on the boardwalk in Atlantic City? Because let's face it, everybody has their pick for the next Miss America. Let's find out. Sir, madam, can I talk to you? Who's going to win the Miss America pageant?
Me.
You are, all right. Congratulations. Who would you get all excited about? Which state?
What state?
Yeah.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, you know. Miss New Jersey is a big favorite on this boardwalk.
I'm going with New Jersey, but since I've been batting 0 for 20, she hasn't got a
0 for
shot.
20 years?
Yeah.
So, ma'am, do you have a favorite in the Miss America pageant?
Yes.
Let me guess.
Miss New York.
Oh, Miss New York. I was going to say Miss New Jersey. Wait a minute. Has someone taken my Miss New Jersey card? There she is, Jennifer. What do you think?
Let's go. Keep going through. Let me see what else y'all got up in here.
Okay, Miss Arkansas, anything grabbing your fancy?
Hold on. Keep going.
All right, Miss Maryland. I think there are going to be a lot of local favorites on this boardwalk today.
Miss Pennsylvania.
Miss Pennsylvania. How come?
I live there.
So far, it's just kind of going along state lines.
Keep going.
Okay. Tell me who you like. Come on.
Hey.
Oh, you like?
Keep going.
No. Oh, I didn't like her. There she is.
There she does.
Victoria
now, does
Reynolds.
she look like the girl
Now,
next
she's got
door?
a little something, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bryn Mawr College.
Wow,
Psychology.
it's right here.
Ambition, clinical psychologist. Tap routine. Yes. Oh, wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
So we want one from Connecticut, but I don't think we have a chance. Connecticut never wins. Pick any card, yes. And it is, wait, don't tell me. Miss Tennessee. Show the card to the camera.
Miss Tennessee.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Nothing grabs you yet, huh?
Hold on. Oh, go back.
Go backward.
Two.
Which one? Oh, Miss Michigan.
Yeah.
Maria.
Lake Michigan.
You like Lake Michigan?
Yeah.
There you go. It's a great state and it's a great lake. So what you're saying is, may the best contestant win.
Right.
Well said, if I do say so myself. Thank you. Anybody else got an opinion? Well, no matter who gets the crown on Saturday night, let's face it, by the time these women get to Atlantic City, they're all winners. And if it's any consolation for the women that don't get the crown, they're in some pretty good company. Listen to this list of losers. Miss South Dakota 1970, Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight, Delta Burke from Designing Women, Susan Anton, performer, Cloris Leachman, Vera Miles, actresses, Anita Bryant. And I'm sure that's just the tip of the iceberg for all the accomplishments these contestants achieve over the years. So, Saturday night will tell. And in the meantime, the Warner Brothers store looks like it's still open, so I gotta make a quick stop. Hello, fellas. All right, I have the cards right here. Stephanie, anybody want to go out on a limb with me?
I think it's a big mistake that they take their high heels off. I'm sorry. It's a big mistake.
You don't like that idea?
You look so much nicer. Everybody holds themselves so much nicer in high heels.
You know, that's what's sort of ironic about the decision.
Mark my words. I promise the
You think there'll be
ratings will come
backlash?
in.
You think there'll be backlash
I
from
do.
the contestants?
I don't think the contestants will look as good, and I don't think they'll like it as much.
Yeah, I think because I kept asking that question down there. All I know is that they've had to hire a lot of pedicurists to come into the convention center. That's a lot of toes.
It's a lot of toes. It's a lot of scraping.
Oh, by the way,
painting.
I did get to the Warner Brothers store. Isn't this great? This is one of the big new retail chains down there. And look, I got a Tweety bird. Isn't he cute? It was the only thing we could afford on our petty cash account. That was all we had left. So I guess my daughters will have to fight over it. Listen, Stephanie, I loved meeting you. It was great to see you.
Thank you.
And you really are sort of like a foreigner. You live in another country, really, aren't you? Aren't you really sort of doing your own thing in Africa now. It's very interesting.
Now, I live a bit in the world, which is one of the things that's been very interesting about, I don't want to get back to the video. But
oh, do. That's why you're here.
It's a combination of a lot of disciplines that I've kind of been exposed to when I've traveled around the world and worked around the world and done some exercise in various places. We've kind of combined all of that and put it in one nice little package.
Great. Well, I'm so glad to meet you, and continued success with all of your many endeavors.
Thank you, and I hope
well.
your contestant wins.
I hope so. I'm going to pick her. I'm telling you, by the end of the week, sealed envelope. When we come back, Debbie Fields reveals her secrets to the famous cookies and how young is too young to have sex. We have an expert, and she'll help us out with that. Please call us. We want to talk to you. As usual, we're live from Queens.